Well, I have to get to my class now. I'd hate to be late. Yeah, same here. I'll see you in the club, Mark. Bye, Yuri. Goodbye. I wave goodbye to Yuri as we head our separate ways. Okay, so if you don't walk with Monika, you get a little bit more interaction with Yuri. I mean, of course, we also get interaction with Yuri when we do walk with Monika, but then it's like, oh, Monika, aren't you supposed to be the other end of the fucking school? And Monika's like, oh yeah, sorry. The rest, don't worry, Monika, I'm gonna go on your route at some point, on my own accord. Not when you want me to, but when I go, when I'm, you're the game. I'm the person playing it. The rest of the day seems to grind to a crawl as I begin the second half of the day. Though I guess that just leaves me more time to think about everything. It was nice running into Yuri earlier. I don't really see her outside of the club. It was nice catching up a little. I'm just hoping when I walk in later, Yuri doesn't suddenly confess to me or something. That'd make this day even more stressful. Because all I can do now is reflect on what Monika told me to ask myself, and look like I'm paying attention. After a long last, the bell rings, signifying that the school day is officially over. Though I suppose that means I'm going to brace for the worst with Natsuki. I think I have a general idea of what I want to say if it comes down to it. Well, hopefully things will just go smoothly for today. I finish packing my things and head out to the hallway to meet Sayori. Sure enough, I spotted Sayori waiting just outside the classroom. Hey Mark. Hey Sayori. Ready for another day of fun and literature? I try to put on the most enthusiastic smile I possibly can. Yep, let's go. That's the spirit. I still remember the first time you came with me to the literature club. You almost didn't want to go. Well, I owe that to you, Sayori. You didn't owe me anything, Mark. Just seeing you happy is its own reward. I can't help but genuinely smile at that. Well, let's get going. With slight hesitance, I begin the walk with Sayori to the literature club. As we're traveling our usual route, I still can't help but feel the anxiety well up within me with every step I take. Though I just take a deep breath and tell myself everything will be fine. Thankfully, Sayori seems to be blissfully unaware of my apparent apprehension, but it's probably for the best. Eventually, we stop right outside the club. Well, we're here. Oh, here we are. Yep. Can't wait to see what's in store for today. Sayori opens the door and steps into the club with me right behind her. Let's just get this over with. Sure enough, the club's the same as it's always been, with everyone in their normal spots doing their normal routines. Monika quickly spots us coming in. Hey guys. Hey Monika. How are you two? I'm doing pretty well, looking forward to another great day with you guys. Aw, Sayori. He's always a charmer. I take it you already have her poems, Mark? Yeah, I got hers yesterday. I just need your poems and Yuri's. Fortunately, I remembered to bring them. I'll give them to you by the time the club's over. Alright. Well, you guys can go sit down. We're going to get started in a few minutes. Sounds good to me. Monika leans in to whisper something to me as Sayori goes to sit down. So, how are you holding up? Still thinking over a lot of stuff. Though in case Natsuki asks about her confession letter, I have an idea of what I want to say. Well, that's good. Still, this is a pretty sensitive topic for you two, so just be careful with what you say. Yes, especially this guy who blabbers out the most insensible things sometimes. I'll try my best. Great. Well, I'll be here if you want to talk more, Mark. Right now I think I could use something to calm me down a bit. It's been a fairly stressful day for me thinking about all this. Whenever I'm feeling stressed out, I find that music usually helps calm the nerves. I've been working on something if you want to give it a listen. I'll think about it. Thanks, Monika. Anytime. Monika goes back to... I do like that, Monika. Not the manipulative, give you fucking nightmares, do whatever you want or else I'll murder everybody, Monika. But the little bit more pushy forwards, hey, maybe you should hang out with me a bit, Monika. That's a lot funnier. That's a lot more fun, Monika, that I would actually consider to spend time with. Monika, just a heads up. Looking around the room, I try to figure out who I can talk to without completely melting down or making some sort of scene. So of course that leaves Natsuki out of the question. Guess that only leaves 3 people I could try talking to. Well, obviously it's Yuri. I'll see how Yuri is doing. So I guess when I go on Monika's route, I have to like start on either Natsuki's or Yuri's route and then constantly spend time with Monika instead. I spot Yuri sitting in her usual spot by the front of the room, intently reading. I casually walk over and take a seat next to her. Hey Yuri. Yuri looks over at me with a surprised expression, but quickly greets me with her usual warm smile. Hello Mark. How are you this afternoon? Oh, I'm good. What have you been up to? I've just been getting some more reading done. So, same as always, huh? Yuri giggles to herself. Would you like to join me? Of course I would, Yuri. Yuri blushes and sets the book between us. You sure you don't want to sit by the windowsill again? Oh, Yuri plays with her hair timidly as she averts her gaze into the corner. Suddenly I remember why Yuri was getting so flustered. Things did take an interesting turn yesterday. I mean, if you really want to, I wouldn't mind. I can see Yuri crack a small grin. Well, whatever's comfortable for you, Yuri. I'm perfectly fine either way. Okay. Let's just stay here for now. Okay, but let me know if your back starts bothering you or anything. Thank you, Mark. And with that, we begin reading once again. After a few minutes of reading, Yuri and I begin to hear Natsuki shouting from the closet. Where the hell is it? Where's what, Natsuki? I'm missing my special edition of Parfait Girls. It's not in the box and I don't have it on me. Maybe you accidentally left it behind someplace? I know I had it here somewhere. Yuri rolls her eyes as she tries to concentrate on reading. Natsuki, I don't think it's here. It has to be! Natsuki's screeching continues until Sayuri walks over to check on the situation. Natsuki, I'm sure you'll find it soon. I have to, that edition cost me a lot of money. Not to mention it was very hard to get. I can't get a replacement if I can't find it. I can see Yuri's face contorted with irritation. Have you tried retracing your steps? I'll do that later, but first I'm gonna flip this entire closet upside down. I turn around to see Sayuri and Monika taking cover behind the desk as books, pencils and whatever else was in the closet flies out at an ever-increasing pace. The commotion from the closet causes Yuri to let out an irritated sigh. I can't read like this. Honestly, same here. I can barely hear myself think. Maybe we can read somewhere else? Honestly, anywhere is better than here right now. Yuri says this louder than her usual tone. In what I can only assume is an effort to get Natsuki's attention, though Natsuki doesn't seem to have heard her, or just chose to ignore her. Yuri lets out another sigh. Come on, let's go. Yuri, in a fit of frustration, grabs my collar and proceeds to yank me along for the ride. Hey! Yuri releases me as soon as we're in the hallway. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It's fine, don't worry about it. Yuri is usually not that assertive around me, but when she is, it's like she's a completely different person. As if it's another side of her personality that she likes to keep hidden. A few moments of silence pass before I decide to try to move on from the awkwardness. So... The air becomes even more heavy as we come to the realization that we're completely alone out here in the hallway. Still, we can't stand here all day. So, where do you think we should read? Well, I did have a place in mind. Where? If you want, we can read by the school courtyard. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going there. I've been meaning to check out that new fountain they built. Now let's go. Yuri smiles brightly as we begin making our way to the school's courtyard. Oh, there's the fountain, yeah. It looks slightly like the courtyard from Blue Skies, but then like mirrored or something. After just a few minutes of walking, we arrive at the courtyard. I don't see a bench. Oh, there, never mind. There's a bench right there. The sun is shining through the clouds and warming the environment with its delicate rays. A cool breeze blows and brings the courtyard to life as the trees shake and leaves fall. The new fountain is glistening as if the water were replaced with crystal. Wow. The courtyard is especially beautiful today. As I look to my left, I see Yuri in a trance, her skin glistening in the sunlight as the breeze flows through her hair. Her expression is one of peace as she closes her eyes and takes in a breath of fresh air. If it weren't for the time constraints, I wouldn't mind staring at her all day. Hey, Yuri? Yuri opens her eyes as she turns her body towards me. If we don't hurry, we won't have any time to read. I point towards the portrait of Markov tucked away under her arm. Oh, right. Yuri and I walk over and sit by the edge of the fountain. Edge of the fountain. How romantic! Are you ready to begin, Mark? Whenever you're ready. Yuri flashes a smile as she cracks open where we last left off. I'll admit, I actually haven't had the chance to read here before. I mean, I've read outside plenty of times before, but something tells me this will be an experience. Let's hope it's one to remember. Indeed. Without a further word said between us, we begin reading. Reading the next few chapters with Yuri turns out to be a blissful experience. The sound of the water rushing behind us as we silently read together turns out to be more joyful than I anticipated. But the best part was that Yuri seemed to relax much more as time went on, embracing the experience as if she was in her natural element. Not to mention she was much more engaging compared to the last few times we've read, being sure to point out what she thought was important or funny moments in the story. At this rate, we're going to need to read here more. Well, I think this is a good stopping point for today. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised at how far we've gotten into the story already. It helps when there's no unnecessary distractions. Yeah, I know what you mean. I stand up from the fountain and let out a yawn as I stretch my arms. Well, we should probably head back before they send out a search party for us. I reach my hand out towards Yuri to help her stand from her seat. Yuri smiles and reciprocates the gesture. Huh? As she extends her hand out, Yuri's uniform slightly retreats down her arm. And exposes her wrist. Are those cut marks? Yuri's expression goes from confused to terrified as she quickly darts her arm back down towards her. Her glowing skin is now pale as ice. Yuri? It was nothing, Mark. Are you sure? I could have sworn I saw something. It's fine. My cat! Yuri takes a deep breath as her panicked expression recedes to her usual reserved manner. Yes, I was playing with my cat and it got a little feisty and scratched me. Are you sure? That looked worse than it looked a lot worse than a simple scat scratch. Scat scratch? No. I told you already. It was my cat! I take a step back away from her as she stands up. Now let's go, before they start assuming shit. Yuri brushes past me and keeps a quick pace as to keep distance between me and her. Alright, I guess. I fast walk to try to catch up to Yuri. The entire walk back, Yuri makes sure to walk fast enough to keep a good 5 feet between us. She never once turned around, but I could still tell she was pissed off. Good going, Mark, you just had to press her. You see what happens when NATSUKI does it, but those still look more than simple cat scratches. You finally get to the club room. Yuri simply throws the door open and storms in. I sigh as I enter right behind her. Yuri rushes to her usual spot in the front of the room, quickly opening up her book again while still looking agitated. I go to walk towards her, but Monika suddenly steps in between us. Hi, Monika. Mark! Just the man I wanted to talk to. Oh, hey, Monika. What's up? Let's go over here first. Monika pulls me to the front of the room, out of earshot of everyone. Alright, what's going on with you and Yuri? Why does she look so upset? Monika asks in a hushed, stern tone. Truthfully, I'd like to know what's up with Yuri as well. They were just reading outside by the fountain, and then it was time to go. When it was time to go, my eyes dart over to Yuri, who's still angrily reading her book. If she blew up at me because I asked her about her wrists, then she'd probably been even more mad that I told Monika what I saw. But again, if Yuri's doing what I think she's doing, then it's probably better to say something, and turning out to be nothing serious. She knows I care about her, right? Oh, okay. We're not telling Monika. No fucking way. Yeah. It's obvious that Yuri wants to keep this secret right now, because of course she's not comfortable sharing it with anyone. So if I tell Monika, yeah, like, don't blabber around. I mean, I don't know for sure. Even if it is with the best intentions. And that is, and then of course there is the fact that Monika is the cause of it. We don't know that yet, but you know, my character and Yuri don't know that yet. But of course we all know that Monika is the cause of this. So we're not telling Monika. Even if we knew as much as what the character actually knows, and we don't know that Monika is, you know, manipulating the game and trying to have her way. Even if we didn't know that, I still wouldn't tell Monika, because we saw that it was extremely sensitive to Yuri, and there's no way that I'm just... and, you know, Yuri was agitated at my assumption that it wasn't... that I didn't believe her story. So I should not be blabbering around saying, yeah, Yuri said it was a cat scratch, but I don't believe it. It has to be something more severe than that. So maybe, you're already jumping to so many conclusions, and it's something super personal. So don't go blabbering it around. So we're not telling Monika. Maybe just making a bigger deal of what I saw. After all, I have no reason not to believe Yuri. I guess she was just mad that we had to get back. We were really enjoying the time we were spending together. Monika stares at me unconvincingly. I know she cuts her like she just breaks character for a second. I know that like oh, that was the best excuse I could come up with off the fly. Isn't it on the fly? Or whatever. So you mean to tell me that she's upset because she had to come back here? That doesn't seem like the Yuri we know, Mark. It surprised me too. Mark, you didn't do anything to upset Yuri, did you? I really don't know what I did, Monika. At least I'm being honest with Monika right there. Can we just move on from this? Monika lets out a sigh. If you insist. Thank you. But as long as she's alright, that's the most important thing. So, you have your side? I need to give you my poems. Oh, right, I completely forgot about that. It's alright, Mark. You've had plenty of stress. You've had a pretty stressful day as it is. Yeah. Monika hands me her stack of poems. What should I do about Yuri's? I'll get them for you. Alright, I imagine she's not in the mood to talk to me right now. Yeah, it's alright. I'll give them to you by the end of the club today. No, what? No, you said you would give yours at the end of the club today, and you gave them? So that's now. So you... I get what you mean, but yeah, well, thanks, Monika, I guess. No problem. I will go over to my bag and carefully stow away Monika's poems. Well, I got nothing to do until Monika calls us together for the activity. And I don't really feel like talking with anyone else right now. I just sit at my desk thinking about what I saw on Yuri's wrist. Try to think if there were any other signs that I should have picked up on. I think back to last Sunday, when we were making the banner. Well, there might have been something. I vaguely remember that when I walked back with the water cooler tablets for the banner, she strolled her sleeve and acted a little fidgety afterwards. Not to mention, I didn't see her knife again for the rest of the day. I guess at the time, I didn't think too much of it, but now it makes sense. The more I think about it, the colder I feel, I tried to dismiss the feeling and tried to pass the time by playing a game on my phone. Okay, everyone, gather around. I want to share with you all the activity for today. Everyone takes a seat at the front of the room by Monika. Alright, I've been meaning to bring this up for a while now. After we finish the photo shoot on Monday, we're going to be reading a piece of literature of our choosing. Yuri and Sayori nearly burst out of their seats in excitement, while Natsuki lets out a groan. I mostly keep a neutral expression, but I'm kind of intrigued as to what we'll be reading. Judging by Natsuki's response, we're probably thinking on the same plane. Thinking on the same plane? Hoping we're not given something we'd have to read for our own literature classes. I have a few early choices we can choose from, but I'm happy to entertain any ideas you guys may have. Wait, is there a catch to this? Nope, so long as it's literature. The ultimate has to be something everyone is willing to read. Natsuki's lips curl up into a mischievous smile, while Yuri shuts her eyes, bracing for what Natsuki is about to say. So, does manga count? Well, considering there's different kinds of manga, I'm willing to allow it for its inclusion on this activity. I guess some forms of manga could be considered literature. Yes! Natsuki pumps her fist in the air. See, Yuri, even Monika admits manga is literature. Just keep in mind it has to be something we'd all be willing to read, Natsuki. And I hope you'd be willing to read something of my preferred taste as well. I guess that seems fair to me. Good. So what are you recommending, Monika? I'd like to recommend this story. Monika proudly holds up a copy of a green book. Yeah, the two of us, which is kind of like The Last of Us, but not really. Just got started on it. But so far it's been a pretty good read. So Yuri's eyes widen. Oh, I've heard good things about that one. What's it about? It's about this girl who realizes she's living in a fake reality. But she finds someone else who knows this truth too. The story is about their struggle to accept their circumstances and attempt to return to the real world. So that's, yeah, to be honest, it sounds a bit like, what was that new movie called from Disney? Free Guy? The NPC that gains sentience and goes on with Ryan Reynolds. It's pretty good, which is a pretty fun film. I mean, there were references to Portal, so it was the reference game was there, and of course the usual Disney references. But I was mostly stunned by the Portal reference. Well, stunned. That's what I mostly remember about it. And catchphrase. Yeah, the story's about their struggle to accept their circumstances and their attempt to return. Oh yeah, I read that. Sorry. It's technically a romance novel, but it has some sci-fi and horror elements mixed in. How can a book be both horror and romance? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I haven't gotten that far into it, so I can't answer that. Besides, that'd probably be spoiling. Yeah, I guess it would be. I mean, there are quite a few romance novels that mix horror into their story. Like this book, for instance. Yuri digs into her bag and holds out a book with a faded violet cover called Outcast's Dilemma. Natsuki rolls her eyes as soon as she reads the title. Is it another horror book? The horror in this book is rather tame compared to what I usually like to read. Well, I guess that means Yuri has a pretty high tolerance for horror. Of course, yeah, of course. Same with me. Natsuki and Sayori both look off uneasily. I know you two aren't really into horror, but trust me, most of this book is romance. So what are the scary parts? What exactly is it about? The book is about this girl who is an outcast from her dystopian society because she doesn't meet their standards for perfection. She goes on to meet a man who saves her, and the two fall in love. Eventually the man is able to get her accepted back into society, but only if she completes several tasks for the government. So that's where the horror comes in? I'd assume so, I'm only halfway done. That sounds like a fun book to read, Yuri. I'd be happy to get a copy of that. I mean, I'd be willing to read anything you guys recommend. I don't exactly have a library back at my house. Well, if that's the case, Mark, I think I've got something you might enjoy. Natsuki reaches into her bag and holds up a large light blue book called Love's Exit. Huh? I've actually heard of this before. Actually, I think I have as well. This is actually one of the few manga that got their own movie. Now, the manga got much better reviews. Anyway, it's about a boy who rescues his friend from her abusive family. Yeah, all these stories are they apply so well on everybody, it's ridiculous. But because his friend's family is pretty powerful, they have to go on the run. And while they're out there, they fall in love with each other, but they know their situation ultimately isn't sustainable. The ending of the story is really sad though. Never thought Natsuki would be ever into something that's sad. So it's a romantic tragedy manga. Yeah, pretty much. I read it a few years ago. I picked it out because it looked like a cute story on the outside. Then as I was reading it, I realized how wrong I was. It's a good story all around. Though I probably wouldn't have read it if I knew it was a tragedy story. I don't know if I said this before when I was on the Sayuri route, but like reminds me of that Metamorphosis hentai type manga, where it starts out as a sort of hentai story, but then eventually it becomes so fucked up so fast. And then in the end, the girl commits. Spoiler. In the end, the girl is pregnant and she commits suicide because she's so sad at what she has become. And then at the end, you see like what could have been, where she reflects on if things had gone better, how her life would have been, how she had a child and managed to pull her life back together. But then you see her like broken glass on the floor with blood or whatever. Like yeah, no, that didn't happen. It's like you just want to like it started out, if you wanted to read it originally, it started out as a hentai novel essentially, and then it goes further and becomes the story becomes so layered, so invested, so fucked up that eventually like you're not really there for the hentai stuff anymore. You're just there to see if this girl can get her life back in order again, because you want her to, but it ultimately doesn't happen. Because I read it because of everybody said, "Yo, you always shoot," like, bro, that's fucked up, and I like, how is this fucked up? This looks like some sort of weird porn novel. Like, this is fucked up. Like, okay, I'm reading it now, and then I read it. And I was like, okay, yeah, okay, the standards stuff, and I, okay, and another chap, okay, another chap, oh god. And then like, please, come on, you can do it, you can get back on, you can recover from this. And then at the end, it's again spoiler, but she commits suicide in the end, and I was like, no, come on. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. Manga for you, Natsuki. Anyway, well, I'll admit, Natsuki, you have me intrigued. Wow, really? I never thought I'd see the day you'd actually be picking up manga. I just hope we see the day you pick up a horror novel. Hey, I said I'd be willing to try. It just needs to be the right story. What do you mean by that? Sensing the incoming tension, Sayori steps in. You know, I think I may have a story that'd be good to enjoy. Sayori holds up a pink-covered book called Rainshine. I'm not familiar with this one. What's it about? It's about this girl who develops a split personality, and the story is about her struggle in trying to overcome it. The ending is really bittersweet. Sounds like it could be interesting. Have you read it before? Yeah, I've read it a couple times before, but I haven't read it recently. It's actually one of my favorite stories. I didn't even know Sayori had a favorite story. Much less I didn't even know she reads something like that. But I guess with the way she described it, I think I might know the reason she likes reading that book. In fact, I think I might be seeing a general trend in each of the books described by everyone. Yeah, no shit. They all have a female protagonist, and the story revolves around love in some way. I guess that's what I get for being the only guy here. Would be funny. Like, what, Mark? What's your suggestion? And like, this book, it's called action, horror, killing, massacres, no love, just that. Cars, explosions. It's Fast and Furious in book form. Now, if I had to suggest a book, I would be suggesting, I've forgotten the name already, but it's that book that I'm reading right now. I keep forgetting the name. It's like, it's about the Roman legions. Again, I don't know if I mentioned this already in my previous time recording during the what I recorded the Sayori routes. But yeah, I'm reading a book that is about the Roman lost legions in the Teutoburger forest. How Arminius set up the trap and everything. The first book, it's a trilogy. I only have the first 2 books. I'm busy with the first one, but it's about the first book is about Arminius, who is how he sets up the entire ambush, and how he's like planning to betray the Romans. And then the second book is like The Empire Strikes Back, where Germanicus comes back to Germania a few years later with 3 new legions or something to reclaim the Eagles. And how he's of course going to absolutely motherfucking massacre all those stupid Germanic barbarians. As a proper Roman should. So I'm looking more forward to that book. The absolute fucking massacre of Germanic tribes. Anyway. So yeah, that would no love. Oh, I don't know, but in the general gist of the story is no love. Yeah, love for Rome and all that she can do for us and all she stands for. Alright, so we have our options. I'll look into seeing if I can get copies for all of us tomorrow, and if I'm able to. Then we can decide on what we'll read first. Is that okay with everyone? Everyone nods in agreement. Yeah, I didn't even need to suggest anything. We still have some time before the club ends, so you guys are free to hang around. Oh, and Yuri, can I talk to you for a second? Sure, Monika. Yuri gets up and follows Monika to the front of the room, while everyone else gets up and goes back to their respective areas. Sighing to myself, my eyes eventually drift to Monika and Yuri, who seem in deep and serious conversation. I just hope Monika isn't interrogating Yuri too hard about what happened. But part of me still feels I should have told Monika what I saw. No. I just hope Yuri was telling me the truth. Well, even if she wasn't, she didn't want to tell the truth, so you should also respect that. I still can't check what I saw, though. How could someone like Yuri possibly be doing that to herself? Suddenly I feel a tap on my shoulder. Oh, hi Natsuki! I look behind me to see Natsuki standing right by the desk next to me. Oh, hey Natsuki, I didn't see you there. What's up? Not much, just wanted to check on you. Since you and Yuri came in here looking upset. And you kinda look down over it. Oh, it's nothing to worry about. There was just a misunderstanding between us. What kind of misunderstanding? I don't really want to get into it right now. Yeah, that's fair. I just hope that she didn't do something to you. Don't worry, she didn't. Well, that's good. I would offer to show you this really cool special edition manga I got, but I can't find it right now. Do you think you might have left it somewhere? Well, at this point, probably. I'm going to have to end up retracing my steps. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. No, it's okay, really. I have other things we can read. We never get a chance to do anything fun together. Okay, well, I'm just shutting her down, okay? Sure, no choice. I appreciate the offer, Natsuki, but I'm not really in the mood to read anything right now. Or be around anyone, wow. Are you sure? Again, no choice. I simply nod my head. Natsuki lets out a sigh. It's cool. I need to find that manga anyway. But if you want me to help you, No. You'd probably slow me down anyways. Natsuki, Why do you suggest that after you completely shut her down? You can still say, I'm not in the mood to reading, but if you want me to help, say that. Like, I don't want to be around anyone anymore, and for the time being, that's bull. First of all, that's bullshit. Second of all, just if you're like really don't want to read anything, just say like, hey, I can help finding the retracing your steps, because I kind of like, so we can be around and talk about whatever in the meantime, you know. Before I can say another word, Natsuki walks out of the club room. I put my hands on my face as I sigh quietly in frustration. Do I have to piss up every single person I talk to today? Well, apparently so. Jeez. Mark? I look up to see Monika worryingly standing over me. You okay? Yeah. What happened? I told Natsuki I didn't want to be around anyone and she got upset at me. I guess she might be assuming something. I'll deal with one problem at a time. How did it go with Yuri? Well, I got her poems. Monika hands me Yuri's poems. I don't know why Yuri's upset with you, Mark. But I don't want you two fighting tomorrow. That looks so stern at me, Monika, don't worry. I understand, I'm sure that she'll be fine tomorrow. I hope so. No, if you want to talk about anything, just let me know. I'll be sure to... Sure, Monika, sure. But Mark, I think everything will be fine tomorrow. Just focus on what you want to say to Natsuki. Alright. Thank you for helping me out so much today. It's what I do, Mark. And I'm always happy to help out our favorite member. I blush a little at Monika's remark. I'll be here, Mark. Just let things take their course. Thank you, Monika. Anytime. I walk over to my bag and carefully put Yuri's poems with Monika's. Then I look up for Sayori, but turns out she already had my idea. Ready to head home, Mark? Yep. I'm looking forward to crashing on my couch. It's been a long day. Mark, that's lazy talk. Don't be a couch potato when there's still so much daylight left. I admire your energy, Sayori. Well, I have to be my best for somebody. I blush a little as Sayori and I wave goodbye to Monika as we where's Yuri? Did Yuri leave, or are we ignoring her for some reason? We walk home with Sayori. Oh, the walk home with Sayori didn't really do much to improve my mood after my run-in with Natsuki. Sayori still asked me a few questions about why I was in such a grouchy mood earlier, but I just muttered out some answer that she seemed to have mostly bought it. And she seemed to have mostly bought it. Still, I tried not to let my mood get the best of me. I tried to make some meaningful conversation about how our day went, but she largely just muttered out one-word answers to me. On occasion, he even saw Sayori flashing me a pained look, which only made me feel worse about my situation with her. I know I promised to spend more time with her, but once again I didn't fall through. I tried to think back to how I spent earlier reading with Yuri by the fountain, which helped improve my mood a little. Though I'm still worried about what I saw. I'm tempted to tell her what I thought I saw, but I wouldn't want to risk spreading rumors. Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't tell Monika, and also because Monika is a fucking psychopath. Not that Sayori is the gossip type anyways. I'm just worried she'll tell or make me tell a teacher or a principal, and things will escalate out of control from there. Mark, we're here. Huh? After Sayori derails my train of thoughts, I look over to see that we've already arrived at our houses. Yes, Mark, you've been spacing out more than I have lately. Yeah, I just have a lot to think about, that's all. Is everything okay, Mark? Yeah, I'm fine, Sayori. I mean, you've looked pretty stressed this whole day. Is it because of last night? I'm sure that has something to do with it, but it's not everything. Well, what's bugging you? Sayori, it's not something you could really solve. It's not something that I can really talk with you or anyone else, really. It's just, I need to solve this one on my own, okay? Alright. Well, I hope that whatever it is, Mark, I hope it all works out for you. I'm here if you need me. I know, and that's all I need to know right now. Sayori and I stand silently on the sidewalk, the silence only being disturbed by the occasional gust of wind. Well, I'll talk to you later, Mark. Alright. Just sleep well tonight, okay? I'll try my best. Sayori and I release each other as we both madly blush at each other. Love you, Mark. Love you too, Sayori. With one more smile between us, we wave a goodbye to each other as we walk back into our houses. After changing out of my school uniform and into my regular clothes, I immediately collapsed back onto my bed. What the hell am I going to do? I quixotically ask myself. I really do think I like Yuri. Having spent the last 2 weeks getting to know her has truly been something. It's really amazing how far we've come in such a relatively short amount of time. At first I thought she wanted to stay to herself, but now she has no problem talking to me. I even think I'm starting to take an appreciation to her demeanor. And well, she could clearly put up with me now. I didn't know at the time, but I didn't think we'd be able to get along as well as we do now, considering how shy she was and everything. But the more I think about it, especially with what happened earlier, I think I understand why Yuri always acts so reserved and distant from everyone else. The more I think about it, the more worried I am about her safety. Not completely convinced that these were ordinary cat scratches. I'm not completely convinced that these were ordinary cat scratches. And if she's actually cutting herself and denying it, then that's a serious problem in itself. But maybe I don't need Monika's help on this. No, you definitely don't need Monika's help on this. Maybe I can talk to Yuri about this one-on-one. I mean, I hope she trusts me that much. But maybe there's a chance that she was just telling me the truth and didn't want me to worry. It'd be kind of funny if I ended up stressing all of this over for nothing. I guess I really do care about her, huh? I've really become more invested in her the more time I've spent around her. No matter what it is we're doing, whether it be reading, drinking tea, or just even talking, being in Yuri's presence alone is its own reward. Even though Yuri might think she might be boring me, I kind of like it when she goes on her little tangents. She always has something interesting and insightful to say about practically anything. In fact, I'm just surprised she doesn't find me boring, considering my taste in literature is rather non-existent. Hopefully Yuri feels the same way about me as I do about her, and I think she does. She's become much more relaxed around me since when we first started talking. Even if it did take some time to get used to each other. She's never really hesitated to talk to me once we got acquainted. Yesterday, she escalated things all on her own, something I thought she'd never do. If you were alone, you might have actually gotten the chance to kiss. And I'd be the luckiest guy on earth to have kissed someone as beautiful as Yuri. While I don't exactly expect for Yuri to be the one to confess her feelings to me directly, I do think she's been trying to say lately she does have mutual feelings. So I guess it'll be up to me to figure out how to put it to her that I just want to be more than her friend. Though that also poses a problem for me. I know Natsuki likes me back. What do you mean likes me back? I don't like her that way. You just laid it on me. That came out of nowhere. That I'm suddenly in love with Natsuki slightly. Like, what the fuck? I mean, I like her as a friend, but the way you say it here is like I'm in love with her and she loves me back, but I love Yuri more. But that's not true. I mean, she confessed to me through a poem, and Sayori, well, I already know how she feels about me. If I ultimately go for Yuri, I would have to break Natsuki's heart, and Sayori likely wouldn't have a great initial reaction either. So it seems no matter what I do, someone is going to get hurt thanks to my choice. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the unfortunate reality that we are in right now. Like I said, you can't have four. Yeah, four. I was about to say 5. I was like, what the hell? There's no fifth girl in this club. You can't have 4 girlfriends. It's just impossible. That doesn't work. Well, unless you're like find 4 people that have somehow are okay with it, but you know, like you. There it is. And my odds of getting a harem are probably non-existent, at least practically speaking. Yeah, that's just not happening. And you wouldn't really want that either, to be honest. One soulmate, just one person that you can share everything. That's beautiful in its own. I'm going to have to choose one of them by the end of this, and I don't think I have the feelings to go for Sayori, especially since I already turned her down once. I just don't have those kinds of feelings for her, even if part of me still entertains the idea every now and then. yeah, again, if this was me in real life, if I had a childhood friend that was Sayori, then I would go for Sayori. But I just met them, and you know, the game is portraying that backstory to us, and I'm playing along because the game says that it's there. But in real life, that doesn't work. Of course, you can't meet a girl and then pretend that you've been that you've been childhood friends forever, and then love her because of that. You know, like no, that doesn't work in real life. So you know, if I had an actual friend that was Sayori that I've met when I was a kid and we've been friends so far, yes, I would definitely see myself falling in love with someone like that. But that hasn't happened. So I would go, in that case, I would go for Yuri, because that's someone that I just met and that I'm on the same wavelength with. We share a lot of the same interests, even though the guy says that's not true, but it is true for me. I understand various things, or at least I do feel like I understand the way things she feels about certain things. So yeah, you know. I mean, maybe I could give NATSUKI a chance and see if we have any real chemistry. But from the times I've interacted with her, I don't think there's much room for us to grow like that. You're all over the place. First you're saying like, oh yeah, I really I really like NATSUKI and she likes me back, but I love Yuri more. And now you're like, yeah, I don't see it working. Like, what the fuck? You're all over the place. As I pull my phone and scroll through my picture gallery. As I'm scrolling, I come across some pictures I took with Yuri at the festival. Looking back at some of the photos, I see just how happy we look during all these silly poses throughout the festival. Really? With Yuri? I'm surprised she even... Yes, I was about to say, I'm surprised she even agreed to do them with me. I scrolled to the last photo, which is us standing by the entrance to the school at the end of the festival. I noticed just how close we are in this photo, with her even letting me wrap my arm around her. Maybe we would make a good couple. Suddenly my phone begins to ring. Is it Yuri? It's Yuri! Yes, it's Yuri! Pick up, pick up, pick up! Why is she calling me? I answer the phone. Yuri? And we'll end it off there. Hope you Romans enjoyed the video. Click the like button if you did. Subscribe to join the Roman army, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, Romans. Volete!